fine. I'm used to
What
it.
toy was that?
It was some sort of piano. It was a small blue electronic piano device that had a whole bunch of keys on it, and there was also a virtual teacher that you just sort of you pressed basically what you were interested in, and he spoke to you what you were interested in.
Nice.
Yeah, it was interesting. It's a good time. Anyway, yeah, but to get the show on the road. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Church of Chonkwij podcast. My name is my name is DrNiggle. I'm joined tonight by OmegaConstruct, Punlord, Biscuit Me, and Zero Burn. So hello, everyone. Happy Monday.
Back
Glorious.
again for another good time.
Glorious, glorious Monday. Yeah, so the first thing that is on the topic list is what the fuck is happening at Reddit. What happened today, June 12th? What has happened on Reddit? If anyone would like to abbreviate.
I told you guys about it last week. Reddit was having a revolt, and today is when it started. And it grew and is actually pretty significant. A whole lot of some of the more major subreddits are all going dark today and for the next 2 days, or 3 days, I think. And some are going dark indefinitely in protest of Reddit's recent policy changes regarding the price of their API.
That is so. What happened was, actually, was it you, Omega, that posted the developer comment for Apollo?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he wrote a nice Reddit post that laid it out basically, and he did some math.
So his name is Christian. He's been pretty active on Reddit in the community of third-party app developers, and I don't use Apollo because it's a iPhone app, but the community of third-party app developers are all very closely entwined and work together in a lot of ways. So I've always been peripherally aware of him and Apollo, but he is the one who kind of first raised the alarm about these changes at Reddit. It was his post on his subreddit that first brought up the fact that the pricing was going to be absurd and that Reddit was dishonest about when they had said that the API pricing was going to be reasonable and based in reality. So
as opposed to, say, Twitter's API usage model.
Yeah, well, that's the exact comparison they made. Is Reddit promised when Reddit announced changes were coming to the API, they didn't specify any numbers at first, but they promised that they weren't going to be pulling a Twitter. Basically, they're like, we're not going to be doing what Twitter did. Our numbers are going to be, realistic and things that make sense. But they weren't. And so the Apollo developer is the person who first raised the flag that this was happening, and it was his post initially that started the huge conversation that eventually grew into this protest that we're seeing starting today.
We should mention that Christian's initial response to the API changes was optimistic, and he was not. He was not a doomsayer. He was not getting up on a soapbox preaching the end of Reddit. He was optimistic because Reddit does need to find a way to keep themselves financially viable, and they do need to hammer out some sort of API plan that will work for them as well as third-party apps who use it right now, I believe, for free.
It's free or heavily discounted, or basically free for all intents and purposes.
Right, but that situation, he quickly found out that was not the case, and that Reddit was misrepresenting what their intentions were and what they eventually decided to do. And that's when he said it would cost him somewhere in the ballpark of $2 million per month to afford access to the API for Apollo.
Damn.
Yeah, which is not tenable for a third-party app developer. He explained, everyone and their mother would bring up, what you could just have, paid tiers, you could look for other sources of revenue, all the rest of that, and he did get into that in his post, basically saying that there are already people who are paying for premium access. It's a low subscription fee, but still, there are already people who are paid up for, a year, several months, so the only way to increase that subscription fee without basically committing financial fraud would be for him to make it so that going forward, if you used Apollo and you wanted a paid subscription, or if you wanted to use it at all, maybe you'd have to pay a small fee, or the current subscription rate would go up to basically cover the $2 million a month estimated API usage fee. And that's just asking for month after month after month for a financial deficit on his part to rack up, and for users of his app to drop out because they don't want to pay. And there's not a lot that he can do about either of those situations besides, go into debt.
Yeah,
or go into the
basically,
red for his business.
his only option would have been to restrict the app to only people who paid for access. They would have to be paid only, and it would have to be about 2 to 3 times as high as what he was currently charging, and that would be just to break even on the new Reddit costs, and that is with him monetizing every single one of his users.
Right.
So, and it's not that that would make up the $20 million. It's that would make up the cost per user, and his user base would be significantly smaller, as you said. So there wouldn't be, any money in it for anybody at that point, because Reddit's going to take their pound of flesh, but then it's going to have to cost even more if the app developer wants to make any money off of it. So, but Reddit's also been really scummy throughout the whole process that all this has been going on. There was...
They did, we didn't even talk about how Christian got accused of blackmail by the Reddit staff.
Yeah, he got accused of threatening them.
Falsely accused, I should say.
Well, it was a misunderstanding in a conversation that was immediately corrected, that after the fact, the CEO of Reddit tried to smear him with the distorted misrepresentation of it, even though it was immediately clarified and, solved in the moment.
And all his back and forths with Reddit were either recorded or through email, because he made the point again, he lives in Canada. One-party recording is legal where he lives. Or one-party consent recording. So Reddit has been scummy throughout the entire process. That's a small detail, but it is a significant one to Christian, obviously. Reddit has misrepresented their intentions and their actions until now, basically, when we see plainly what they have proposed.
Well, what's interesting about it is they've been really trying to scapegoat and focus on him, Christian, as a target of the discussion, when it's not just him or his app that is getting screwed by this change. It's all the other third-party apps as well. And just because Christian is the one who raised the alarm doesn't mean it's in any way actually about him. So it's just really scummy the way Reddit has gone about doing it. They the CEO actually said in an interview I saw on PC Mag that they're not going to they're not planning on changing the API decision they made. Protests, I don't have a lot of faith that the protests are going to change anything. Reddit is going to do these things that they have decided to do.
And all the people who are currently outraged and participating in the blackouts will be back, and they will continue to use Reddit.
Well, I mean, will all of them? No. Will some of them? Sure. But in the grand scheme of things, Reddit just doesn't care about legacy users. I mean, this isn't a new idea or a new notion in the tech world that they don't give a shit about legacy users. It's always about the new users. And that kind of goes for everything from, software to games to websites to, social media, all that shit. It's always about growth and not about anything else, really. So Reddit doesn't care about losing the chunk that they might lose. And you're right, some people will bitch and moan and protest and won't go for a little while, and then eventually they'll crawl back and accept the new changes. But most people are, going to come to Reddit and not know that the app is shitty compared to what other options used to be there. They're not going to know that the website, the way that Reddit looks nowadays, is totally different and antithetical to what the original Reddit was designed to be. They just won't know that. So Reddit doesn't care. It doesn't matter to them. They are more interested in, like I said, monetizing all of those new customers and monetizing all those new users. And
No, you had it right.
but yeah, that's pretty much what it is. So I've pretty much lost faith that anything is gonna. I mean, Reddit's been going downhill for a while. People on Reddit have been saying as much for quite some time. So yeah,
time for something new to come along.
Yes, I say we all go to 4chan.
Yeah, that's great. Well, what's interesting is
only bits of 4chan are pure cancer. Like the majority of it, but still.
That has been part of the conversation. Is a lot of people have been asking, all right, what are we going to go next? What's the Reddit alternative? Because what's interesting is what made Reddit so popular and come to dominate, this space of the internet was, I don't know if you guys remember what happened to the website Dig, but Dig was a website that was similar to Reddit. It was an aggregation site, had a large community, and much like Reddit. But what ended up happening is the site admins, owners, whatever you want to say, made some arbitrary changes that the community didn't neither wanted or asked for, and they made their clear displeasure known, and everybody jumped ship, and Dig literally died. It literally killed the website. Everybody went to Reddit. Reddit exploded. But there is no alternative right now. There is no other option to go to, and it's been kind of a hilarious race of a few different upstarts trying to pretend like they're going to be the next Reddit. And there's one called Lemmy that I'd never heard of until literally this all started. And it's another one of these. It's like Mastodon. It's like some weird decentralized version of Reddit. Like Mastodon is some decentralized version of Twitter, whatever the fuck any of that means. But there is no well-established alternative. So you're right. Honestly, Reddit can sit tight, weather the storm, lose a small chunk of users when most of the people bitching and moaning eventually come back. And they will get to force third-party apps out of existence and force their shitty app on everybody and cram ads down all of our throats.
I used the Reddit app the official Reddit app for approximately 1 day when I got my new phone. Because I was all psyched. I was like, oh, God, I'm going to tie in all my DrNiggle accounts. I'm going to get everything, one presence, one social media presence, and it's going to be great. And I used the Reddit app and discovered that I can go to landing pages for communities. I can go to the front page for R Unexpected or some shit. and I can view all the posts, but then there was a video that I wanted to watch, so I clicked the video and nothing happened. I was like, oh, that's weird. So I clicked on the comments. I tried to go to the actual thread itself. Blank screen. Every time I tried to open up a post, open up comments, click on the header, go to the post itself, blank screen. Could only view images, couldn't play videos. Fucking busted ass app. I spent probably half a day trying to figure out if I was doing something wrong. Nope, just a shitty app.
Yeah, and it's not even it's both that the app is shitty in terms of like UX and like under the hood. It's like a shitty user experience. It's a shitty designed app from the actual user perspective, and it's also just a shitty bad app. Like it's just a poorly made piece of programming. Like it's just bad fucking software.
Which is probably why third-party apps are so goddamn popular. I had no idea until recently.
Like these third-party apps, like I've been using Reddit is Fun on Android for literally a decade, like if not longer. Like it has been the superior mobile Reddit experience for ever. Like just it has been. And Reddit never even had an app until a couple of years ago when they bought an app called Alien Blue, which was the most popular iPhone Reddit client. And did they buy it and clone it and, you know, make that great app the official Reddit app? No. They bought it, killed it, and released a piece of garbage. They basically did the Google method of buying a company to kill it rather than out-competing it.
We're buying this because it's more profitable for us to liquidate you and pick up your user base. Yeah.
Sounds about right.
So they literally bought one of the best Reddit apps, and they clearly prove that they are not interested in making a good Reddit app.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, yeah, it's the blackouts started today. I don't think that they'll have. It's a good show. It's getting attention on the internet. Even some mainstream media have picked it up and written articles about it. But yeah, I don't have. As we've said, yeah, Reddit has no plans to change their API structuring or the changes that they're making to monetize access to their API from third-party apps. So, yeah. It's actually also been kind of fun just seeing the stuff that's come out from internally in Reddit among the admins and the conversations that they've had. Largely in part, I mean, the ones that I'm familiar with is Christian from Apollo, because he released transcripts and recordings of all of his interactions. And the admins at Reddit seem to think that their API is shit. They seem to think that the entire thing needs a rework, that it's cobbled together at this point. It's the definition of spaghetti code at this point. It's just been built upon by the initial, probably what was to be a temporary API framework that got turned into a permanent framework and has been expanded upon ever since. So yeah, Reddit doesn't like their API. Developers don't like their API. And nobody likes the Reddit app. Not the people inside Reddit, not the people outside Reddit.
I'll be 100% honest. Every time I have used Reddit on my phone, it says, do you want to switch to the Reddit app? No, I want to continue in my current browser. Thank you.
Well, yeah, but that's the entire point. Like Reddit has actively been doing things that are user unfriendly. And
yeah, if you're not using the Reddit app, you can only scroll through so many comments.
Yeah, exactly. If you're not using the app, they limit your comments. If you try to visit it, like you said, visit on your phone in the browser, they constantly pester you to use the app. Actually, this showed up on in the discussions recently. Apparently, Reddit was experimenting with a new feature of entirely disabling mobile browsing without the app. And it came up because somebody posted in the help subreddit, just r/help, which is like Reddit's official help subreddit, saying that they couldn't access it on their mobile browser. And one of the admins responded and said, "Oh, you must have been in one of the trial groups where we were running that program." And so they were literally running programs to see if they could just outright force people to use their app. Like, Reddit is been proving pretty unabashedly and without remorse that they are an evil company that doesn't care about their users. Like, I don't know how they could make it more clear.
Oh, good times. But yeah, so that's the shit show that is Reddit this week. I don't know what to really think about this. I really don't use Reddit at all. Not because I have something against the platform. It's just because I get all my social media from other sources. And if there's something worthwhile pops up on Reddit, either Omega posts it in general or I hear about it through somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I do use Reddit a lot. Like, it is my go-to place on the internet. Like, I get bored of Reddit, close Reddit, and open up Reddit because I need something to do. Like, that's just how much I spend, how much time I spend on Reddit. I cannot use Reddit on my phone if I can't use one of these third-party apps. So I'm not going to. If Reddit, the way that I view Reddit also on my computer is through the old Reddit style, which is not the way it's default viewed right now. You actually have to set that in your user profile settings. And if they stop supporting that, I won't use Reddit at all anymore. I mean, yeah, it is that drastic. And, you know, a lot of people are on the outside are like might be making jokes about it, think it's silly to see a website's user base revolting against decisions like this, but you know, it's pretty significant, especially when you consider the fact that like Reddit is made up of its users. Like, its users provide all the content, its users moderate all the content. Like, why is a company that is so reliant on its users providing what brings people to the service, why is it making decisions that are so unfriendly to those users? And when you see that, I think it's, you got to ask yourself if you want to support that kind of company or you want to support that kind of business mentality. And I certainly don't. So I need to do a new internet routine. Me and millions of other people.
TikTok. No, I'm kidding.
That's a hard no.
A family app.
Let's restart Vine.
Hard no.
Yeah, well, maybe we can hang out more on Fortune. Yeah, that's just not gonna happen. For as much time as I spend on Fortune, I can't. I can't for like a couple hours a week is fine for me. Apart from that, it's tiresome.
I mean, if you go down the rabbit hole, you can only go down the rabbit hole but so far. And then, you know, then it just gets to a point where it's not fun anymore.
The best communities on there are unfortunately some of the most slow-moving communities. Like HR, high resolution, is great because you have to get past all the celebrity threads where people are just posting pictures of who is it? These days, it seems like Kristen Stewart's a big one. Emma Watson is just going to be there until the end of time.
She made a resurgence. Kristen Stewart made a resurgence. Is she making a face other than the one that she can make?
No, it's the same face in every single goddamn. It's exactly what you expect. Yeah. No, you're right on. And I don't know why there was a resurgence. I don't know why people just started posting her again. But yeah, there's always that. Besides that, if you get past the celebrity posts that are useless, high resolution on 4chan has like some really cool stuff. People will be posting like artwork with. Those are the threads that I really love. They're posting artwork from a certain region in a certain period. So you have like Gothic art from France, and they will post not only the titles and the artists of the paintings that they're posting in high resolution, but they'll give you a little snippet about what was going on when it was painted and all the rest of that. So that's the kind of shit. I love art history, and I really love going over stuff like that. But those are very slow-moving communities. That's something that you only need to spend about couple hours a week, every 2 weeks maybe, before new threads come along or old threads get bumped. So anyway, there are some corners of 4chan that are actually nice, that are actually interesting to look at. Useful. But most of it's cancer.
Most of it's
yeah, most of it's just awful.
This place is just awful.
It is, yeah. You just basically randomly click on a board on the front page. That'll be the case. That being said, some of it is awful to be funny. That is the reason why poll exists. I never believe anything that's written on there.
If anybody, yeah. I mean, it's gotten, of course, it's always been the case. If anybody ever says, hey, I got this from 4chan, I immediately stop listening. It's one of those things where it's just like, I have never heard one piece of useful information off of 4chan.
See, that's a misunderstanding of what 4chan is.
Yeah.
4chan is the internet's incubator. 4chan is the place where every idea, good and bad, starts, and the good ones escape 4chan. And that's where, like, until actually very recently, well, until pretty recently when TikTok kind of took over in this regards, 4chan was kind of where every meme started. Like, Reddit took over after 4chan, and then now TikTok has kind of taken over from that. But, like, for a while there, memes came from 4chan. Then they showed up on Reddit, and then they made it to Facebook. That was the cycle of internet memes in, like, the 2010s and 20-teens.
Yeah, there's some... I mean, that is why our green text exists, because people comb through 4chan and look for the best green text. So it still happens. It still can happen, but yeah, it's no longer... I wouldn't expect it these days. It's no longer the norm, I don't think. But then again, I have difficulty telling where things originate, unless... like, if I really want to know where a meme started, it's knowyourmeme.com. If they don't have it, then wait a little while and it'll be there.
Give it 15 minutes.
Yeah, if the meme does not exist on knowyourmeme.com, then it's because someone is creating the page for it as you are looking. But yeah, there is still it's got its ups and downs. Something I won't call it miraculous, but kind of bizarre, maybe even good happened on 9gag in the last week. You used to be able to post on 9gag under anonymous, and so your user icon would just show up as 9gagger. They did away with that. You can no longer post anonymously. And when that happened, their memes came out about it. There was one guy, we were just talking about Emma Watson. There was one guy who was posting every single day threads about Emma Watson with just, text like "my queen" or something cringy. People like that stopped. It just stopped. And a whole lot of pro-Russian propaganda on the war in Ukraine stopped a whole bunch of anti-Jewish threads stopped. And I've been going through, I actually have been spending more time on 9gag that week since that happened, and I've noticed a marked increase in the quality of their content. So, a little change like that did real good for the community. Their mobile app still sucks, but...
Are there any third-party apps?
There might be. I don't know. I haven't checked.
So you gotta look. That's where the good apps are.
Yeah, apparently. But, yeah, so social media alternatives to Reddit, yeah. There are some, but I don't know how much traction any of that will gain. I hope it does. Something needs to... The only way to... If people really dislike what Reddit is doing, killing third-party apps, then the only way for them to really punish, I guess, Reddit for making a decision like this is to impact their bottom line. And the way to do that is to stop using Reddit and go elsewhere. So
That's
if people
really
really feel... I know, yeah, because you just said it, I know, I'm repeating you. But you're right, and if people really do feel that strongly, then I hope that they do, as a community, establish some alternatives and bring groups of people over to those alternatives, and hopefully the same thing doesn't happen again, at least for a while, anyway.
The reason that there will never be, or there isn't currently and won't be a Reddit alternative is just an issue of scaling. Like, some guy can't be like, hey, Reddit's code, by the way, was open source until long enough ago that somebody could just basically remake old Reddit. But like, who has the resources to scale that up to be a Reddit competitor? Who has the manpower to moderate that and prevent it from becoming a shitty alt-right neo-Nazi hellhole, which happens seemingly every time someone tries to create a Reddit alternative and doesn't properly moderate it. There multiple times there have been basically every time Reddit has changed its rules to restrict something, there's been some version or another of an exodus to someone who creates, some site. And it's some shitty Reddit knockoff clone that very quickly turns into just the worst right-wing troll hellhole. It's kind of hilarious in how predictable it is. Mind you, same thing happens with Twitter. Every time, Twitter censorship is too bad, we're gonna make Twitter.
We're gonna go to Parler.
It's always some fucking right-wing shithole.
We're gonna go to Truth Social.
Yeah.
We're gonna start posting whatever we want as soon as they, get around to verifying our accounts. There appears to be a 6-month wait still. Oh God, yeah. Some of the shit shows that have come along have been truly spectacular.
I mean, it would take it would take a super ballsy move that right now in the current economy, nobody is willing to make, which is going to be like, okay, here's a few $1 billion. We're going to fucking bootstrap a fucking globally scaled Reddit clone. It's going to take like $10 billion. Who's it? Like, you're not going to get that. Business world doesn't work that way. So
Kanye West would do it.
Yeah, Kanye West is not worth a fraction of what he was even a year ago.
I know, we were just talking about Parler, and I was like, yeah, I mean, they are a right-wing hellhole, but even they didn't want Kanye West. So yeah, that's just...
It's true. Nobody wants Ye.
I was thinking of the cat meme of just, no, thank you. Oh, man. Yeah, so, yeah, you're right, Omega. I could get behind that, but yeah, I get what you're saying. It's just not... There's not the financial backing that exists currently. Which is a shame, too. You'd have to set it up. Basically, we'd be going back to the old days of bulletin board. Good old PHPBB, where you have one person who's paying for hosting, and then the rest of the community is volunteer. And that's how you start it, at least. And then you have to grow it from there. And you have to monetize with ads. But at the beginning, it would be a matter of paying for a server that could handle that kind of traffic. And it would depend on the user reception to it as well, depending on how many people joined outright. Because it used to be for a PHP bulletin board, at least, if you wanted, I don't know, maybe 1,000 users, a couple thousand users, you could run that off a potato. It might not be pretty, but you could do it. It was back in the days. I've run several of them myself, and yeah, the infrastructure is not terribly expensive. You can get by with $1,000 a month for a larger site. But yeah, growth is always the problem. Making more money is always the problem.
Well, the thing that makes Reddit unique versus the old forums that existed before Reddit became the big thing is each forum is its own website is basically a walled garden. Reddit is an amalgamation of 10,000 different communities.
Oh yeah, PHPBB is definitely a step backwards. Reddit was the evolution of the bulletin board forum. In that anybody could make their own. In PHPB, how it would work is, you'd have a landing page, but outside that landing page, anybody would be able to make their own subforum, basically. And Reddit, the system that Reddit is now, perfected that. So yeah, I agree. I understand.
So yeah,
interesting technology.
Reddit is not dying, but Reddit will very soon no longer be what it once was. Also, they're only able to watch porn on the official Reddit app, by the way.
Oh yeah, they're cutting not suitable for work NSFW for all API requests.
But
someone did the math on that, and that's something like, if you cut not suitable for work off the API, then only 40% of Reddit's content will be available through the API.
Oh my god.
Reddit's got a lot of porn on it.
60% though?
But here's the thing though. It's
Damn.
how much of the total internet do you think is porn? Probably not a dissimilar ratio.
Yeah.
It's how much of that is. Yes, there's a lot of porn on Reddit, but also a lot of that is just spam.
Yeah.
And, it's not that, the content is not deep. It's just very shallow and spread wide. No pun intended. It's the other content on Reddit that has a lot more depth to it. But, yeah, there's a fuck ton of porn on Reddit.
Well, the internet is for porn.
The internet is for porn.
For porn.
Tracky.
Oh, it's a good time. We should. All right. Half an hour on Reddit. 38 minutes. So yeah, obviously, we'll keep an eye on that. I'm not sure when the next big updates will come, but I'm sure that we'll be paying attention. But to move on, because I've been watching Omega play Diablo for a little while now, we have some Diablo stuff that's come out this week. It's a week after launch. Diablo 4, very popular. A lot of people playing it, a lot of people enjoying it. I wish that I could enjoy it with a lot of people too, but it keeps crashing on me. I'll figure that out, I'm sure. But for now, an eagle-eyed data miner has revealed a potential 5th difficulty option in Diablo 4. So I'm glad to say that the tradition of people data mining Blizzard's games is continuing, and someone went through the available data that they have, and they found text and an icon for a World Tier 5 that would fit into Diablo 4's existing difficulty menu. And there are placeholders or they found a marker placeholder that would point to the capstone dungeon that you would need to finish before you unlocked World Tier 5. So, yeah, there is speculation. We know, just everyone in here who's played a Blizzard game before, especially a Diablo game, we know that Blizzard is not done developing this game. It's the first week that it's come out. I've speculated that it will be in development for about 2 years, and we'll see balancing, we'll see new content, we'll see all sorts of stuff. The game will change, and it may well be unrecognizable 2 years from now. But this was the first news that came out, so yeah, World Tier 5, new items, more powerful gems, all of this revealed from data mining. And yeah, who can tell us about World Tier 4 and why it's boring?
My friend just got to World Tier 4 and he's like, "Oh, this is great," and I'm like, "Dude, you're 62, you're rushing the content. I mean, enjoy it a little."
Oh, he's 62 on World Tier 4? Well, you can do that. Why
70
not?
is technically World Tier 4, but
Oh, okay.
I told him, I said, don't rush the content, man. You're a week in, you've pretty much gotten all of the main things out of the way. Now you're into the end game and you're just grinding stuff. You're grinding gear, which for Blizzard is pretty much part of the course. So, but again, I believe this is my WoW killer, and it has definitely met my criteria for Game of the Year.
Omega, which character of yours is this? This is your barbarian. Second character?
Barbarian.
Third?
Yep, second.
This is your first character.
Is like 62, 61, 60 something. I don't know. Yeah, I was doing that. That was fun. But yeah, I felt like trying to barb.
Well, yeah, I will be interested to see where this goes, because the main thing that people are waiting for is for July to hit, because that's when seasonal stuff starts happening in D4, and that's when we all, as a player base, are going to get a better idea of where exactly Blizzard wants to take this game in terms of repetition, grinding, gameplay. How is this going to work in the long run? How are you going to keep player attention, essentially? So yeah, once the seasonal stuff starts, I'll be interested to see how all that works out, what the incentives will be, and how they will keep it fresh.
I'm really looking forward to the battle pass.
But yeah, are you gonna buy the battle pass?
No.
Yes. I think it was included with the Ultimate Edition. Am I wrong?
Yeah, first battle pass.
First one.
Included.
Yeah. So
Yep.
I mean, I'll have access to it because I got the Ultimate Edition, but that's just because I wanted the glitter.
It's funny running around in game. I started picking. I didn't realize that you would actually pick up horse glitter in the game. So yeah, I picked up a bunch of horse glitter.
Yeah,
made me feel special.
A few of mine in chat that I got. It's nice, and I got the butcher's cleaver trophy for your horse as well. It's not as large as I would have hoped.
That's
it's like
what
you
she
beat
said.
him, and it's like.
Yeah. I've only encountered the butcher twice in dungeons. Kicked his ass both times.
So my first time fighting the butcher with my sword, he annihilated me. And then since then with my sword, I've killed him a good 10 times. And then I faced him once with my barb, and he wrecked me as well. But my barb is still in progress.
I've seen half a dozen guides that are just like, builds for sorcerer specifically, and they're just like, yeah, build this awesome melee sorcerer, get up in people's faces and fucking blow them away with ice chunks and shit. I'm just like, what are you, retarded? You don't melee wizard. I get it. I did it in the closed beta, but no way. Ranged source was just so much more fun for me. And so, yeah, I run around distance killing people.
I'm having a lot of fun with the arc. Was it the arc lightning or?
Oh, yeah, the chain lightning.
No,
Arclash.
it's arc lash. That's what it is.
Oh, Arclash.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The melee
Arclash was the
wizard.
one that I. Yeah, that's the one that I did in the beta. Yeah,
Yeah,
in the beta it was
that's what I'm
strong.
doing right now, and it's a lot of fun.
Oh, it is stupid strong. That's what I'm actually running on mine. That's the leveling build that Icy Veins suggest, is the Arclash build.
Yeah.
Well,
Nice.
yeah, but the arc lash endgame build is it's a different build. Like it's same skills, but it's constructed and gets its playstyle differently. But it feels strong, and then sometimes you feel really really weak. It's very like feast or famine build. If you get like a nice fat pack and you jump in the middle of it and you blast them and everything explodes, it's fucking great. But then if you're like shit's on cooldown and you got 3 little like goat men or something fucking with you, you just basically smacking them with your stick for 3 minutes until they die.
Yeah, I'm finding that Chain Lightning Sorcerer is more fun for me, just because it doesn't matter. If it's a group of enemies, yeah, I shoot off Chain Lightning once, they all fucking explode. If it's a single target, I at least have the affixes that give me mana back if it bounces off of me. That's the other thing about Chain Lightning. Chain Lightning did not used to bounce off the player character.
That was
it does
in
now.
the beta.
No, yeah, in the beta. Yeah, in D4 it does.
Oh, but, yeah, not in D3, correct. Yeah,
or in D2.
Yeah, I was doing Chain Lightning while I was leveling, and once I hit like World Tier 3, it fucking crapped out, and Chain Lightning wasn't doing it for me, so that's when I made the switch to the full Arclash build. But up through the end of T2, through the story, I did Chain Lightning as well, and it is a lot of fun. I would say it's probably more fun than the straight Arclash build, but Chain Lightning plus Arclash was fun. But unfortunately, right now the pure Arclash build is like one of the 2 endgame builds for Wizard. It's kind of a shame. I'm not a huge fan, honestly, of the Wizard endgame build or the Sorcerer endgame builds. I think they need to add something, fix something up a little bit.
Yeah, which is a shame because there are a lot of options on that skill tree, and it seems like it took people very little time to narrow down the best ones. So there are absolutely best in slot items and best in slot skills for Wizard, or for Sorc, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter.
See, here's the thing: like, how is there not an OP Blizzsorc build?
Like, I think they're scared of it for whatever reason in D3. Like the OP wizard build was CC. What the fuck was it? God,
the CM wizard.
CM was a critical mass wizard. Yes, stun lock and freeze everything in place, and it was fucking amazing. It was a great build, and Blizzard hated it. Absolutely hated it. Got rid of it. Made it impossible to do that ever again. And since then, they are really hesitant to give sorcerer or wizard, whatever, the ability to spam skills. They want wizard to have cooldowns and wait. Even when it was Tal's meteor set or whatever the hell. I know there are people are listening, probably screaming at this, being like, "No, that's not true. You can totally spam all the spells and Tal's." Well, that's half true. But I think. First in D3, Blizzard really hated the solo Demon Hunter, but then they gave Demon Hunter a lot of love and they started hating Sorcerer or Wizard. I think that might have carried over, so hopefully they'll get over whatever that is.
I really hope so, because
Scott needs to dominate.
Blizzsorc it has a special place in my heart. Like, that's my favorite Diablo 2 character, and I would just love a fucking strong, kick-ass Blizzard sorcerer. That's just I just feel like that's part of the Diablo legacy,
Yeah.
and should be included just as a matter of respect. It just deserves. It's just come on, Blizzard. Don't be afraid. Give us our Blizzard. Don't make it too OP. Just make it hang with the other ones. Just make it not suck.
I'm suspecting right now that the Diablo 4 code has some difficulty with particle effects for like massive, like that, what you just did, you know, big explosion or a shout or whatever that was. I think that too much of that is not great for the game engine right now, and that they need to spend some time optimizing their code or doing whatever it is that they need to do to make the game more stable. I suspect this. I don't know it. I suspect it. But
No, I
if
agree.
that were the case, then Blizz Sorcerer would it'd shut you down and crash the desktop every time because Jesus Christ, yeah, Blizzard everywhere.
The only crashes that I've had have been in times where a lot was happening on screen, particle effect wise, mainly in big boss battles.
Yeah.
So I agree. Yeah, I think there is some instabilities that they still need to iron out. But I will say, yeah, they haven't been frequent enough that I'd say that I'm having a problem with them. So
In neat Diablo 4 stuff that happened, Diablo 3's hidden camp is actually a location on the map that you can go to. It is the hidden camp that you walk into at the beginning of Act 2 in Diablo 3. So right before you enter the city of Chaldeum. And I'll just put the map up on screen. That is where it is. So you can actually go there and you can see the area from D3. Nice little reference, just sort of tucked in there.
When I was running around and I saw the road to Arcanus, I was like, "Aw,
yeah,
memories."
there are some fun little fan service moments.
There are, yeah, so I'll throw this up because this was, yeah, why not? Let's see if we get a copy strike for playing fucking in-game footage. But yeah, someone posted this on our Diablo 4. This subreddit was unavailable today because obviously they shut down, but Google has caching services. Ha 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 ha. So, yeah, this person's just going to run around on screen and remind you of what was in there in D3. And then you'll get a comparison of what it looks like in D4. Somewhat more muted, more detailed, but everything is there. Nice little fan service.
The Sheaf makes an appearance. That was my favorite little bit of fan service.
Yes.
Who
Yep.
does?
Mashif.
He is the boat captain that you hire in Act 2 to take you to Act 3.
To Lutgolain. Yeah.
He takes you from the desert to the jungle.
And yeah, apparently he was good friends with Deckard Cain. Never knew that they spent so much time hanging out in D2, but they did.
I wonder if they actually did, or if it was just that one boat ride.
It was probably just the boat ride.
But I'm sure it probably felt like an eternity.
Oh yeah, because Deckard never shuts the fuck up. Masami, I appreciate your reference, but
Well, I mean, it's only from The Fifth Element, your favoriteest movie ever.
that is true. Yeah, and that is Luc Besson wearing a very nice hat, pointing a gun at Bruce Willis. What is that in reference to, may I ask?
So the guy said something about "Give me the cash" or Google's caching services. That's what it was off of.
Okay. All right, well done. Well done.
Yes. I love
I
it.
just don't have the technical know-how to change it to the proper spelling of cache, which is CACHE. So
Give me the cash. Oh, and the last thing to cover for Diablo 4 is going to be there's an achievement that I will definitely go after, but I won't like it, called Endangered Species, and yeah, you basically have to go around looking for specific animals to murder, and yeah, people were having difficulty finding two of them. One of them was a cute little bunny bun bun, and the other one was a horse, but people found the horse, and people found cute little bunny bun bun too.
That's
Savage.
funny.
I don't know why this is an achievement in game.
I had a feeling there was going to be one. I haven't
It's
been going
awful.
out of my way to kill wildlife, but plenty of wildlife has been dying due to my actions.
Sometimes they just get in the line of fire, and it's
Just a lot of collateral damage.
Yep.
I mean,
a lot of explosions happening as a sorcerer.
Maybe I'm not being entirely honest when I say I've never intentionally done it, but like for the most part, there's unintentional bycatch, so to speak. But I was thinking there's got to be an achievement for killing however much wildlife, or good to know that it's killing one of each wildlife kind of achievement. It's like Warframe. Except there you don't kill them, you just kidnap them.
Oh, conservation. Yeah. Yeah, you send them to, who is it? Is the business that runs that? You send it to his farm upstate. Yeah.
Flush them down the proverbial galaxy toilet.
No, that's what happens when you release your Kubro.
Oh, yeah, when you consign your Kubro, and it goes back to the Lotus.
Quote unquote back to the Lotus. Nope, just gets shoved out the airlock.
Oh.
Yeah, that's awful. So anyway, because unfortunately we got to wrap this up because I have to get up early tomorrow. Masami mentioned something about an article that we covered a long time ago, and it was, I did some digging around and I did some tracking down, and it was an article that we covered about how Google, this is back in 2018, Google was dragged into court by another company called Sonos because some of their casting technology, their streaming technology from their home devices, like Google speakers, for example, infringed on Sonos patents. And so it was 2018 that the FTC, the FTC ruled, no, it was the International Trade Commission, the ITC ruled that Google's products infringed on 5 Sonos patents. And yeah, instead of Google ponying up a licensing fee with Sonos, they just decided to take those features out entirely, just like you said, Masami. So, good memory.
Wow, I'm impressed. I was actually right about that. I was like, I'm pretty sure we did this at some point.
Yep, we did. And this is the article that we covered. It details the things that Google took out. Users no longer are able to adjust the volume of multiple sets of speakers in a group using a single control. Instead, they need to adjust the volume of each speaker individually. That Google just decided to roll back all their progress and make people do that. Users no longer be able to adjust the volume of multiple sets of speakers in a group using their phone. Speaker groups, they could blah, blah, blah. Small group of users will have to use a device utility app to complete product installation and updates. So it was more or less just a giant inconvenience for anybody who was casting to Google devices. So this obviously...
It was just the weirdest thing because I was just like, because they did like a major overhaul on the Google Home app. I mean, we don't have like a huge place and a ton of rooms, but we've got like one of the little screens and then one that's just sound based. And I was kind of exploring the app a little bit because it was a pretty fucking drastic change. So part of it was me trying to figure out, okay, can I still do all the things that I actually do with this thing? And then I was like, wait a minute, I can make a group of speakers. And now you still can't do the whole like increase them at the same time. You still have to like do them individually, but you can like make groups. Like there's still stuff that you listed off there that you can now do. And I love it because if I'm going to multiple rooms, even though our apartment is fairly small, it's still nice to like the music doesn't stop when you're going from uh, room to room. So,
Well, that is where this is going now, because I've just shown 2 articles about what happened early 2022 and July 2022, but then in December of 2022, Android 13 got support for Chromecast, starting with YouTube Music. So that was Google's original plan, was to get YouTube Music able to have all this functionality through their app and through speakers via Chromecast. And that was December 2022 they rolled this out, so they must have created their own proprietary code to let people do the things that they lost in early 2022. And then January of this year, Android got Spotify Connect support with an in-media switcher and cross-device switching. So Google partnered up again with Chromecast through Chromecast. They partnered up with Spotify, and that is why you can do the things that you can do right now.
See, that's the thing.
that's
It's nice that they've been able to get some of this shit back, but like this is where patenting of technology gets really shitty, because it's not about the code, Doc. With technology, you patent concepts and you actually own the rights to a concept, and that's fucking bullshit. You want to know why we don't have mini games in loading screens in video games? Because some douchebag patented the idea in, I think, the 90s and doesn't let anyone do it. And like when you have tech patents like that preventing Google from letting their app change the volume of a group of speakers at the same time because another company came up with the idea of like, that's bullshit. I hate that.
Yeah, no, I trust me. Like, if I hadn't discovered it randomly, because like when we first covered it, I'm like, oh, that'd be kind of nice. At the time, I didn't have like we were still in our old apartment. Like when we moved, because we have a little bit more freedom with what we do here. Like we replaced the thermostat and put in a Google thermostat. We did one of the little like doorbells with the camera, which is great because I never have to wonder if there's a package here or not. And I can control. Am I too cold? I go to an app on my phone and I turn down the temperature because I'm lazy. But super cool that
It's
I
not
can
being lazy, it's convenience. You're paying for convenience. It's a feature.
It's a feature.
Yeah, it's you're not only is your home more energy efficient, but you are more energy efficient as well.
Yes, because I'm not spending energy going to the fucking thermostat.
Exactly.
And Google gets to
Bingo.
collect analytical information about how hot or cold you prefer your apartment.
Yeah, I had the same thought. I was like, all right, so Google the temperature of Masami's home is a data point in some fucking spreadsheet in Google's database.
Along with
I'm
how
pretty
often
sure
you
Google-
get packages and who stands outside your apartment.
Oh, funnily enough, the way that because we've got our own entrance, like it's not a secure building. There's like hallway, like outdoor hallways, essentially. So
I
we
gotcha.
have it's kind of a townhome style thing, but it's still a fucking apartment, no matter what they goddamn call it. But our camera is pointed in such a way that it can't help but see the apartment door across the way. So every time those people come in and out, or get a package, you know, I'm seeing it. I'm getting an alert from my fucking Google Home. So not only is Google picking up analytic data on me, which honestly at this point, like if they haven't figured out I'm basically a snake for temperature, I don't know what they've got going. Plus I'm a bit of a voyeur, or not a voyeur, but sometimes an exhibitionist, so I don't give a damn anyway. But they're also figuring out what my neighbor's, traffic is. So
Wait a minute. Is it Alexa? Is that their?
That's Amazon.
That's Amazon. What the fuck does Google have?
Hey Google.
hey
It's
Google.
just Google Home. Is what
That's
it's
it.
called.
Just Google, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
It used to be called Nest, and then they rolled Nest into Google Home.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's
God.
now the name for a product that Google offers. So
I'm picturing Zero pointing a camera at his ass, saying, "Hey Google, does this look like a rash?"
Oh, I would do it if my wife would allow me to have connected products in the house. She is very much against them, and I
Oh
don't
my
blame her.
God. Yeah, your wife and I would get along.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will never have that. I love the idea of having all that integrated. If it's run off of a server that I have in my home that is air
Not
gapped
connected to the
from the
internet.
internet.
Yeah.
Entirely air gapped.
Yeah, I would also do that. Oh, we're from a different generation. We're from the generation that saw 2 invasions of Iraq, 1 9/11, 2 economic downturns, a pandemic. Sorry, economic downturns. Fucking economic collapses.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the rise of Jeff Bezos.
yeah, trust me, I know exactly what I'm giving up for being a lazy piece of crap. So I'm normally one of those people, but I am just just the fucks are not there anymore.
How does the
I mean,
saying go, Masami? If you can be one thing, you should be efficient.
Yeah.
honestly, I understand it. At a certain point, it's like, yeah, give in. Okay, Google. You win.
Yeah. You really want to know if I prefer 2-ply toilet paper? I mean, okay, I'm fine with that if you really want to know. So yeah, I do too. I mean, I
I'll tell
use
you what,
Chrome
Google
for
really wants to know what I shop for. Anytime I go to a store, so I have the Google Rewards app on my phone, which used to be great because it was like a whole bunch of random surveys about whatever shit. And they toss you some money and you can spend it in the App Store. Lately, it's all been tasks instead of surveys. And the task is invariably I go to a grocery store or I go to any store and my location services ping me there and I get a notification that's like, did you go to Target? Upload your receipt. And they'll give you like 25 cents if you upload a picture of your receipt.
Yeah, my wife has it's called Fetch, the Fetch app, and she uploads our receipts and we get points and then we can get gift cards.
Yeah.
But like it's so minuscule. It has taken us, I would say, the better part of a year to get to the point where we have enough points to be able to buy anything.
Meanwhile, that company's been selling your data to the highest bidder. Anybody who fucking ponies up for it.
Yep.
I'm sure it's been quote unquote separated from any identifying information.
Sure it has.
It's been anonymized and used for larger market research. Certainly not been used to give you ads tailored directly for your interests that might make it more likely for you to spend money that you don't need to spend on things you don't need. Because here in America, our only purpose is to consume.
I wonder if I could start. See, here's the only reason why I would connect all my shit to Google. If I could create some sort of I wouldn't call it an alternate personality, but if I could channel the part of my soul that is obsessed with pornography exclusively into everything that Google sees about me, I would do it so that I could see what kinds of creative suggestions Google would offer up to me. Like, we see
You know
that
what? I
you
would pay to
purchased
see
an
that.
LED butt plug. Perhaps you would be interested in, and then see what they come up with.
Well, that's the
So-
funny thing. Like, Target sells sex toys and shit now, so I kind of just want to go buy some cheap sex toys at Target and upload that receipt to Google and be like, here, that's what I'm buying.
We see that you had a 320-gallon tub of lube delivered to your house. Perhaps you would be interested in.
Here's my Target receipt. It is a roll of duct tape, a handkerchief, a bottle of lube, and a dildo.
We see that you are a fan of David Carradine. Perhaps you would be interested in.
Oh my god. Mr. Carradine. Mr. Carradine. Oh no, he choked too hard this time.
Oh, I'm sure that's not true. He's still hanging around somewhere.
Yeah. Oh god, I love it.
Gotta stop talking about Mr. Carradine. I might get choked up.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah,
God.
yeah, that would be, it's fun because that's how I see myself using these services, is just to fuck with them. And then some analytics server gets hacked and the database is sold on the black market, and all of a sudden people are saying, why are you such a sex pervert? And I have to stand there every day and be like, what, are you not?
Now, that's when they
Prudes.
sit. It's when they send you in front of the government tribunal, and you have to answer for all of your thought crimes.
Your Honor, I'd like to thank you all for... Just imagine me saying this as I unscrew a jar of peanut butter and start slathering it all over my body.
See, this is where we also just need to remember that Pornhub did publicly say that the most conservative southern states are the states that have the highest rate of looking at trans pornography.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
So they will start slinging data around,
There's actually a
being
great...
judgmental about it.
There's a great studio called Transfixed. And yeah, they make some quality content for sure. I'll speak highly of it. I'm comfortable with my sexuality.
Trans women are women.
In porn? Yeah, why the hell not? So, that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. I gotta go fucking bed. I gotta get out of here. But yeah, GG's everybody. Hope you had fun. Kirby was in here for a hot second. He had to book it. But yeah, good times. See y'all same time, same place next week. Penis. Fuck Putin. Fuck Winnie the Pooh. Fuck Nestle.
Fuck 'em.
And Masami, I hope you enjoyed your tacos.
They were very good.
Delicious tacos.